get started on our bumpy balls, so I'm using a size 4 acrylic type yarn. Any one you want to use. I'm using some scrap I left over, and I have a 4.5 millimeter, or I don't know if you can see that, it's a G hook. Alright. I'm going to start with a magic ring. If you are not comfortable with the magic ring, you could just chain 3 or 4 to make a ring. Or like it says, I'm doing the magic ring. So we're going to start out and we're going to put 6 single crochets in our ring. Right, now we are going to start making our bumpies. I'm trying to see if I have a stitch. Things you might use a stitch marker. Stitch marker, there we are. Oh. Alright. Stitch marker. Right, because we are not joining, we're working in continuous rounds. So in our first single crochet, we are going to put 4 single crochets in our first single crochet here. So that's 1, 4. Now we're going to make our bumpy increase. So we're going to put our stitch marker in our first single crochet. We took our hook off the loop. We're going to go back 3 single crochets, put our hook in, pull our loop through, and we just made a little bumpy. So we actually did a single crochet and a bumpy, so that's kind of like a bumpy increase. Next stitch, again 4 single crochets, take out our hook, go back 3, put our hook in back into the 3rd single crochet, put our loop back in there, pull it through, and we made a bumpy. So we are going to repeat that around. So, we are back at the beginning of the round. You should have 6 bumpies with 6 single crochets. Alright, for our next round, I'm going to take my stitch marker out for a minute. For this side, if you can see, in our first single crochet. So you see, there's the first single crochet, and then we have a space or loop where it's formed our bumpy. I don't know if we can see. So our first stitch is a single crochet. We're going to do our bumpy increase, so that is 4 single crochets. Or, yeah, 4 single crochets in that single crochet. Now at the beginning of the round, we're going to go back and put our single crochet into the first single crochet. Again, we took our hook out, going back 3 single crochets, put our hook in that first single crochet, put our loop in, and let's make our bumpy again. Oh, and try not to split the yarn. our bumpy. Now on top of this bumpy, I don't know if you can see that stitch in there. We're just going to make a single crochet. Our next stitch, I don't know if you can see, it's right here, is a single crochet. We're going to do our bumpy increase, which is 4 single crochets. Take our hook out, oh, take our hook out, go back 3. Make our little bumpy, put our hook back in now, stitch, pull it out, and make a little bumpy. And we are on top of, this is the bumpy we made, and there is a stitch right there. Put just a single crochet there. Again, we'll show you the next stitch is a single crochet. We're going to make our bumpy increase, so we're making 4 single crochets. Take our hook out, put our hook in, and draw up a loop. There you are to make the bumpy. Single crochet on top of the last bumpy from the previous round. Alright, so we're going to repeat that around and I will get back to you. Alright, I'm at the back of the row. My last stitch was a bumpy, so I will put a single crochet in here, there, and that is the end of the round. You should still have just 6 bumpies. 1, 2, 5, yep, 6 bumpies. Alright, so we are on to our next round. This will be our last increase round. So the first, that was a single crochet. We're going to do our increase, which is 4 single crochets. We're going to put our stitch marker back into the first stitch. Which is a single crochet. We're going to make our bumpy by going back 3. That makes our bumpy. Our next stitch is a bumpy, so we put a single crochet in that. Finally, we should have our next stitch is a single crochet. We should at this point have 2 single crochets next to each other, so the next one is a single crochet. So we're going to make just a single bumpy, no increase, so that means we're going to put 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Put our hook back into the first single crochet. Again, like before, we'll put our loop in and hopefully not split on you. Find the first one, that 3 group, put your hook in, pull it back, and that makes a bumpy. And that is a repeat round. So our next stitch is a single crochet. We're going to do our increase, which is 4 single crochets. Put our hook back in the third one. Make our bumpy. The next next stitch was a bumpy, so we're putting just a single crochet in that stitch. And the next stitch is a single crochet. We're just doing a normal bumpy or a non-increase. So what that is, just 3 single crochets. Put our hook back into the third one. That makes our bumpy. And I do our repeat again. The next stitch is our bumpy increase. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4 single crochets. Take our hook out, go back in the third stitch, and draw the loop to make the bumpy. Oh, it's our bumpy. The next stitch is the bumpy, so we just put a single crochet in that. And the next stitch is just a single crochet. So we're just going to do a normal bumpy in that, which is 3 single crochets. Go back in the third. Single crochet, put our loop behind and draw up the loop to make the bumpy. Alright, so that is what we repeat around. I know that might be a little more complicated. We'll just keep doing it till the end of the row. The first stitch in it is a single crochet, and that one has the increase, so that's 4 single crochets. Go back in the third single crochet, make our bumpy. Next stitch was a bumpy, so put the single crochet on top of that bumpy. The next stitch is a single crochet. We're just doing a normal bumpy, which is 3 single crochets. Stitch back 3, hook back in the third, first of the cluster, or the first bumpy. Okay, so we're doing another, and then the next one will be the increase. Just 4 single crochets. Go back 3. Put our hook in that third back from that to make the bumpy. On top of this bumpy, we're going to put a single crochet. And this next single crochet is just a normal bumpy, or a non-increase, which is just 3 single crochets. And take our hook out. Put it in that first single crochet, draw up that loop from the third, and to make our bumpy. Alright, this is our last time. We're almost at the end. So again, this is our bumpy increase. Which is 4 single crochets. Just go back 3 single crochets. Again, this makes the single crochet and a bumpy. The next one's the bumpy, so we'll put just a single crochet in that one. Then the last stitch should be a single crochet. We're just doing a normal bumpy, which stitch is 3 single crochets. And put our puff hook back in, drop the loop. There we go. That's the end of that round. We should have 12 bumpies. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, we have 12 bumpies. So we are no longer increasing. So the next 3 rows we're kind of alternating what the stitch was. So like our first stitch is a single crochet. So we're going to make a normal bumpy in that one. So that's 3 single crochets. Oh. Go back 3 single crochets. Put our hook back into that loop that we took out and pull it, and then that's a bumpy. And then our stitch marker is going to go where the bumpy is. The next stitch should be a bumpy. I don't know if you can see, we're putting a single crochet where the bumpy was. The next stitch, I don't know if you can see that in there, is a single crochet. That's a bumpy, so we're going to do 3 single crochets. Again, take our hook out, put our hook back in the first one, first single crochet, put a loop on there. Finish our bumpy, and the next one is a bumpy, so single is a single crochet. And that's so forth and go around. So like I said, then all the single crochets make a bumpy. On top of the bumpy, make a single crochet. So I'm going to repeat that around, and I will be back. Right, we are at the end of the round, and the last one stitch was a bumpy, so putting a single crochet in that one. So we're repeating, not for the next round, again we're kind of repeating it, but the next round, because the first stitch was a bumpy, that is a single crochet. So we'll put a single crochet in the first stitch. The next stitch was a single crochet, so we make a bumpy in that one. And I make our bumpy. We're going to repeat that around. Like I said, we're putting that next stitch was a bumpy, so we put a single crochet in that one. The next stitch is a single crochet, and we make a bumpy in that one. I'll repeat that around, and then I will get back with you. At the end of the round, we ended with a bumpy. Now we're going to do one more row, keeping it even around. So the first stitch was a single crochet, so we got to make a bumpy. Three single crochets. That's right. Three, we're making our bumpy. We'll mark our first stitch, which is bumpy. next stitch was a bumpy, so we put a single crochet in there and repeat that around. Next stitch was a single crochet, so I make a bumpy. There we are. And next stitch was a bumpy, a single crochet, so we just repeat that around. Alright, so I just completed the row, and now we're going to start decreasing. So right now we have 12 bumpies. We're going to go down to 6 bumpies. Alright, so the first stitch was part of a bumpy, but we want to decrease it. So we're going to find, I don't know, because we're doing kind of amigurumi type decreasing for single crochets, we're going to find the front loop from the bumpy and the front loop from the single crochet, and then just do a single crochet decrease. And that was our first stitch. We are going to mark it. Then we are going to put a single crochet on top of our bumpy. That was our bumpy. Like that, there's also 2 single crochets. In the next stitch is a single crochet. We're going to do a normal bumpy with just 3 single crochets. Then we make our bumpy like before, put our hook in, and back, make our bumpy. So now the next we're going to decrease again, so we're going to put it in the front loop. We can see the 2 loops of the bumpy. We can find them, or one of the loops. Put a hook in that. Put the hook in the front loop of the next. Make a single crochet decrease. Oh. I have 2 loops for the bumpy. Yeah, we're going to decrease over the bumpy and the first single and the next single crochet to make a single crochet. Single crochet in top of the next bumpy. And make a normal bumpy in a single crochet. Alright, we're going to decrease again. Find a loop from the bumpy, the front loop of the next. Try to split it with the next single crochet, do a single crochet decrease. Single crochet on top of the next for the next bumpy. And do bumpy in the next single crochet. So do a decrease again. That's the back loop. I know, trying to find the bumpy stitches. Bumpy stitch. Put the hook in the front loop of the next single crochet. Do a single crochet decrease. Single crochet on top of the next bumpy. And make a bumpy. we'll keep finishing this round. So we put our stitch in the bumpy, well, a bumpy stitch. Put our hook in that. Put the hook in the front loop of the next single crochet. Do single crochet, decrease, single crochet in the next bumpy, and do bumpy in the next stitch. Oh, and almost in the round. One more time at the end of the round. Decrease over the bumpy and the next single crochet. Single crochet in the next stitch. And then end with a bumpy. Alright, at this point I want to think about stuffing, or it's about time to stuff. You can use regular stuffing, scrap yarn. I'm going to use a part of a plastic bag. Stick that in there. We also another kind of fidgety moment. You can have that sound from the plastic. Some people might like that. So stuff it from whatever. You're going to start stuffing it. Okay, so now we're going to do another decrease. So what you do in this first stitch is a single crochet. In this first single crochet, we're going to make a bumpy. So that's 3 single crochets. Oh, not that. So make our bumpy. Mark our first stitch of the bumpy. Alright, then we're going to single crochet decrease. That would be for the next, put our hook in the front of the next single crochet and where our bumpy was. Single crochet. Next stitch, we're doing a bumpy. And we're doing a decrease, a front loop. We put our hook in the front loop of single crochet and put our loop in where the bumpy stitch is. You can see the bumpy stitch. Make a single crochet. Try not to get. Okay, single crochet decrease. Let's go. And the next stitch will be bumpy. So I'm going to repeat that around, and then we are going to finish off and close off our bumpy ball. Okay, we are at our last round of this bumpy ball. So we're just going to single crochet 2 together all the way around. So in every stitch, single crochet, 2 together. All right. You should have 6 single crochet. Nice. Off. Finish this off usually. Any amigurumi. Just take this and put it in the front loop of all the stitches around. Pull it tight and just work the other, work that in. There you have it. There we have it. We have our bumpy ball. Got a nice, you can texture just something to fidget with. Squeeze the air, whatever filling you wanted to put in there. Like says, I put the plastic bag from earlier. Something to fidget with. So, if you did like this tutorial, please get a like. Want to see more content like this, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you always for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye now.